think so. And so those
Okay,
have to be
on the block.
parts of services, right?
Hmm.
Block rotation options.
Right. So we
Okay,
would create a yellow word, a blue, and a red to this list.
cool.
Okay. And then let's go ahead and define who those 4 residents will be for a particular block. So you can just take out those
Maybe
4 on block 3 has 4 listed, so we
yeah.
could just pick those.
So this could be one of
Blue
each.
wards, one of
Okay.
each. So we're looking at the intern, so we'll create an intern rule.
Let's see, red and yellow.
And yellow. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So let's go to the call schedule. And let's go to your wards intern. We'll create a rule for that row. Okay. So, and by the way, before we do that, can you fix the long call team row? We're missing blue up there. It looks like a JAC was placed in there. And
Oh,
I
there's a
mean,
pattern going on.
yeah, there's a pattern. So you can start with July 1st if you want and just kind of
Yeah,
fix this
good idea.
pattern. Okay, and it looks like the autofill to end of year is off, so it's not quite making all the way through the year. That's okay.
Right.
Let's actually go to block 3. So let's go over a little bit. Okay, and we'll have to add them in there too. Um, there we go. Okay, well, we've got some in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that has to be entered in first. We have to have which team, and that's usually a Q4. If they have 4 teams, it's a Q4. I turn on autofill till end of year, so I can define which team is on the first day of the year, the second day, the third, and the fourth, and then it fills that way for the rest of the academic year.
Autofill
That's
for.
under call scheduling preferences. If you go to file preferences and then call scheduling, you'll find that the third box down, autofill to end of year. So I instruct folks to turn that on to get their pattern in for the year. The auto scheduler will just randomly pick, and we don't want that. We need to define which team is on for the first 4 days.
Good.
So I turn that on initially, and then after I autofill the team, I turn it off because we don't necessarily want it on for the rest of
Right.
the services. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so now let's build our ward intern rule. So we can use staff by rule 7 if you want.
Sure.
So we'll say, let's start with yellow because that's the first one I'm seeing in this list. And so we'll say the yellow ward, PGY1, and you technically didn't put anyone else on it, so they're really the only ones that will show up. But this is
Oh,
what you
that's
would
true.
do.
Yeah.
The yellow ward's PGY1 is going to staff this if, and you have to click if, and now filter for staff. Select the yellow name from the list all the way over. Yep, that
So
yellow team name.
yeah, this was the step I was missing. So when we added,
Oh,
no, it's okay. When we added yellow as a service option, there's something in the system that automatically creates yellow as a person
no.
option.
No, we had to create a staff type called teams, and then we added a staff name called yellow and tied it to the team staff type. So if you go to staff types, you'll see a team, and then
Gotcha.
staff, you'll see if you filter for team, I've got the ward teams and the ICU teams listed.
I see. So there's a person called yellow.
Teams.
Got it.
Yeah, and if you look at your block schedule, or I'm sorry, the icon toolbar, you'll see the black T icon for that staff type up in your block page icons.
Ah, good
And
call.
if you click on it, you'll see that generically for the whole year, we put in wards for those teams and the ICU for the other teams. Okay. And most folks don't want the team schedule published online. And so if you right click on the team icon, you can uncheck that first option, publish team schedule. So you don't need to publish their block, but we need it for the call.
Gotcha. And there's a little shaded out corner there, which
Yeah,
makes sense. Okay.
instead of a
I did
solid.
not know you can do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now that we defined, okay, which teams cover which services, so on the call schedule, that first row, ward long call team, is staffed by the team staff type, and it's set to
Right.
a Q4 pattern. And that's why it knows to only pull in those 4 names of the colors. And then you just plug in, starting on July 1st, which team's on, the 1st through the 4th, and then it repeats that pattern for the whole year.
Gotcha.
And that's how that came about, is which team is on. Okay, so we're ready for so let's go back to our rule writer.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to filter for yellow. So go ahead and select the yellow person from the staff list, and then filter for call shift. And we're going to select the long call team. So we're basically saying staff the yellow intern if this yellow person is on ward's long call team service. Okay, and then click after the parentheses and do a plus sign. Yeah, right there. And then do a plus, and then we repeat. So now let's do blue. So we go back to the beginning and say pull the blue ward resident, blue ward intern. So we start with, nope, rotation.
Oh, you can't. Okay, I see.
So now you select blue wards, PGY 1. Yeah, so it's a lot of if, and then you would select the staff person called blue, and then the call service for wards long call team under call shift, and repeat. Now, what you can do as a shortcut, especially if they have a lot of teams, like if they're an 8-team group, is you can copy the conditions. So I find it sometimes works and sometimes it causes on-call to crash. That's why I sometimes use it. But if you right-click, say, on that first block icon, Lee, there you get options to copy rule or copy condition. Choose create a copy of this condition, and it adds it at the end. So we have to add the plus sign before that to break up the rule. So
Right.
yeah, click the plus and drag it to be before the block, or put it there. Perfect. Okay. So you can right click on an icon and it copies it and it puts it at the end, and then you can move the icons to get them in the order you want. But you're going to have to edit it because this is showing the yellow wards, and we don't want yellow anymore. We want green. So now
Right.
you have to unselect yellow and select green.
Yep. Okay. So it's
Okay, so you can.
not a huge. I gotcha.
Yeah, it's like it saves you a few steps of filtering, but I don't know if it's a huge time saver.
Right.
Okay, and you basically do that until you have all 4 covered. So you're going to have 4 sections to your rule for the 4 teams.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I might have to do a it's like practicing a song. I might have to go super slow from the beginning to reduce my amount of brain hurt.
Sure. But you're basically, I use this a lot for attendings too, because you're basically saying staff this person only if this other person is on this other shift or service that day or previous day, or and so it filters down who shows up in your team summary, and then you can run the auto scheduler because it knows when to put the green person on and when to put the yellow person on.
Right, I see. So this is, and forgive me.
Sure.
Let me see if I can. So we are telling the. We have not applied this yet to.
Correct. We have not yet.
But this will eventually. We're aiming to apply this to Ward's intern.
Yes.
And we're saying, hey, Ward's intern service, please pull people from the yellow wards. If they're PGI ones from the yellow wards, if they are part of the yellow team, and the yellow team will be denoted by what's assigned to the ward's long call team.
Right. So when you're done, we should see that the auto scheduler fills the yellow resident wherever yellow is listed up in that team row.
Right. right.
It's not
Okay.
going to put a blue person on a team column. It's going to
Okay.
put it, you know, so you're basically defining when that team can staff call.
Gotcha. Let's finish it up.
Okay,
Let's see, just to see it kind of all come to fruition. So there's
sure.
yellow, we did blue, we did green, and then there's just red left to go, I think.
Yep.
So I need a plus sign. And then let me try the right click to create a copy. Yeah, I guess it saves me a little bit of,
Yeah, like I said, it saves you some time, but you still have to like delete the extra space, change the
right.
info.
And was it red? Is that the one I didn't
Yes.
see? Okay.
Yep.
Red PGY ones, if they are on, or if they are part of red. Where's red? There it is. Okay. And on they're pulling, if red is the assignment that's on wards,
Right.
on call team.
You got it.
Cool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all 4 colors. And now we can apply 2. Is that right?
Hmm.
Do I need to get my cursor out of the spot it's
No.
in to apply to? Okay. So
Mm-mm.
this
So
is
you can
going to
just,
apply towards intern.
yeah, perfect.
Cool. So I'm going
And
to move this
so,
up so that
yeah, and get the auto scheduler out and clear what's there.
yeah, my brain is
Now, we should
ready.
really only see it fill block 3 because those are the only ones that have those particular ward color rotations. So you could leave it on all year. It's okay because we don't have to save this.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, apply.
So, um, so I'll apply
And
for
oh,
all.
and by the way, this is
Mhm.
another little thing that's cool. So right now it's set to a Q4 call pattern,
Right.
but we don't have to follow that anymore because we're basically defining who's on a Q4 basis. So you can change that to variable call, and that's really helpful because that allows them to take a resident out of a particular day without having to remember to turn off the autofill call.
Good call. That is a good point.
So when they do something like this, I switch them back to a variable. They don't need the pattern. You see how
Right.
the team summary is showing the red resident when red is on,
Yep.
and so on. Yep.
Cool. And why would I think you're right. I only added a few of these into the third
Hmm.
block
Right, for your second years.
for the second years. Um, right. Block 3.
Um, was it second? Maybe
Or
I
maybe it
got
was
that wrong.
my,
Maybe it was third.
or maybe it was
Or
my
first. I'm
intern.
sorry. It was
Sorry. Yeah. Wow.
first.
Simultaneous. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah. So I didn't put blue wards, green wards, or anything like that anywhere else in the schedule. So it won't
correct.
really know to. So
It
I'm
should be blank on those dates.
cool. Okay. My brain is almost around this.
Yeah.
Um, so we basically made a fake, not a fake, but a thing that people can do. It's a service in the general setup. Let me get all my crazy windows open at the same time. So um, to kind of like help me nutshell it for my brain, we made a staff type that is a team.
Hmm.
We made people that fall into the staff type of team that are those colors. And then we made uh, services for teams that are fake people that are going to be doing these things on the wards at these times. So that we wanted to be able to say that the red team was covering wards. Um,
Right. The service is for the residents to define which team they're covering when on wards.
okay,
On a block level, that helps them with the evaluations. That's why they do it.
got you. So evaluations are always based on rotation.
Well, a lot of programs, they need to make sure those peer evaluations get lined up to the right
Mhm.
folks. So they have to define it on the block because it doesn't necessarily pull it from the call schedule to figure that out. Um,
Gotcha. Okay, I understand. Gotcha. And we um, we have to have a sort of placeholder person because we need to tell the system which team is covering this Teams-based call
for the day.
service. Yeah,
Yeah, that's usually the admitting, the ones that are taking admits.
gotcha.
And so, yeah. And then you
Okay,
can see that, here's my yellow attending, my yellow resident, my yellow intern for the
right,
day. That's their team.
right, right,
And so
right.
that also helps them to know, oh, well, who's my resident and who's my attending today. And so they see that.
Cool.
But yeah. And then if you run the auto scheduler, we really shouldn't see other services filled. They should be blank because they're not on
Yep.
yet. So it stopped filling it. But yeah, that's how they can get to an auto fill when they've got various teams.
Cool. I may, unless you hate the idea, Aline, I might take this video, carve it up, and put it in a help page, like
Sure,
this actual meeting.
if you want to.
Um, uh, cool.
It's
Anybody?
it's advanced, but we
Yeah.
are seeing it more and more, so it's kind of
Teams-based
cool.
auto scheduling. Cool. Anybody have any questions about this? I have. It's one of those things that I get right now, but if you ask me in 20 minutes, I will not get it anymore. Um, so I will try to document this. But that's great, and that makes good sense.